Hello everyone. I'm Linshi. Yesterday I talked about why I ended up staying single for so long. I mentioned that in the past I was more focused on enjoying life, and because of that I never really thought about marriage. But after I posted that, a lot of people left unpleasant comments saying things like, "Oh, so you had your fun, got tired of it, and now you want to get married?" Some even made it sound like I spent my youth partying and playing around, as if I wasted all my good years and only now realized I made a mistake. Honestly, that's not the case at all. So today, I decided to make this video to clear things up. When I said I liked to have fun, I wasn't talking about clubbing, partying, or being involved with a bunch of men. What I meant was that I love traveling. I had this passion for exploring the world, seeing new places, experiencing different cultures. Maybe it was because of the influence of the writer Sanmao, but I've always had this free-spirited, wandering soul. Marriage just never seemed like a priority to me. I thought, why settle down now? There's still so much to see, so much to experience. But time moves fast. And before I knew it, I was in my late 30s, labeled as a leftover woman by society. And let me tell you, once you reach this age, everything changes. You're no longer the one making choices, other people start making choices about you. And about the 2 times I was rejected in arranged blind dates? Here's what happened. Both dates were with different people, introduced to me by someone from my apartment building. This person spoke to my mom and asked if she wanted to set me up with someone. Of course, my mom got excited and said yes. The first guy was born in 1990. But the moment he found out I was born in 1987, he immediately turned me down, saying I was too old for him. He didn't even want to meet me. Just 3 years older, and I was already considered too old. The second guy was born in 1988. He initially agreed to take my number and my mom gave it to him. But 2 days later, the matchmaker told me he was still thinking about it because I was older than him. He said that if he thought we were a good match, he would call me, and if not, he would stay silent. Well, it's been 2 weeks now and I haven't heard a word. So basically, I was rejected in the most indirect way possible. And that's how I got turned down twice before even meeting them. I don't even know what they look like. All I heard was that one is a driver and the other is a police officer. Other than that, I know nothing about them. You know, in the past, I was always the one rejecting others. I had options. I had the power to choose. And now, in 2024, I'm the one getting rejected, without even getting a chance. My God, can you imagine how that feels? It's like life played some kind of joke on me. A lot of people ask if I regret not getting married earlier. And to be honest, I wouldn't say I regret it. Back then, I truly enjoyed my freedom. I had no interest in settling down just for the sake of it. And even now, looking back, I don't think I ever met someone who truly loved me for who I am. I've never felt that deep, overwhelming love for anyone either. It just never happened. So what can I do? Just go with the flow. If it's meant to be, it will be. And if it's not, then so be it. At least I lived my life on my own terms. Well, that's it for today. See you next time.
现在30岁大
I see so many women my age, between 30 and 40, still single, and I can't help but feel a mix of frustration and regret. The truth is painful, but it needs to be said, most of us ended up here because we made the wrong choices. Society will tell you it's not our fault, that we're independent, modern women who simply haven't found the right one yet. But let's be honest, many of us weren't looking at the right time, and when we finally did, the best options were already gone. I remember being in my early 20s, full of confidence, knowing I was attractive, knowing I had options. Marriage? That was the last thing on my mind. I thought I had all the time in the world, and the idea of settling down felt suffocating. I had my career to focus on, places to travel to, things to experience. And I wasn't the only one. I saw women around me doing the same. But what we didn't realize was that time doesn't wait for anyone. Many of us refused to settle for anything less than perfection. He had to be tall, successful, well-dressed, well-spoken, and, of course, head over heels in love with us. We convinced ourselves that we deserved only the best. If a decent guy came along, but he wasn't exactly what we had imagined, we dismissed him without a second thought. I can do better, we told ourselves. And then, suddenly, we were 30. I look back and see the pattern clearly now. The men we rejected in our 20s? Many of them are happily married to younger, less demanding women. They built lives together, grew together. Meanwhile, I and many others kept waiting for the perfect man to appear. Spoiler alert, he never did. I have a friend who was absolutely stunning in her youth, tall, elegant, intelligent. She had men practically lining up for her, but her standards were ridiculous. He had to be at least 6 feet 0 inches, incredibly good-looking, rich, and have the perfect personality. She rejected everyone who didn't fit this fantasy. Now she's 35, and guess what? That perfect man never came. And worse, the men who would have once fought for her attention don't even glance her way anymore. She recently went on a blind date, and the man, who was divorced and not particularly remarkable, wasn't even interested in her. That was her wake-up call. The irony is that it's not just the picky ones who ended up alone. Even successful, hardworking women, women who built careers and became financially independent, are now struggling in the dating market. I fell into that trap too. I thought my career and achievements would make me more desirable, but men don't choose partners the way we do. We want a man who is equal to or better than us, but the men who meet those criteria? They don't care about our money or status, they care about youth, beauty, and femininity. I've spoken to professional matchmakers, and they've admitted something that most women refuse to hear: men overwhelmingly prefer younger women. They told me that they no longer even accept clients born before 1986 because there's simply no demand for them. Imagine that, being so unwanted in the marriage market that even professionals don't see the point in helping you. It's brutal, but it's reality. So what do we do now? Some women double down, convincing themselves that they're too good for the men available. Others, like me, have had to swallow our pride and admit we made mistakes. The hard truth is that we were lied to. Society told us we could have it all: career, freedom, independence, and that love would naturally come when we were ready. But the dating market doesn't work that way. The older we get, the fewer options we have. I wish I had understood this earlier. If I could go back, I wouldn't have been so dismissive of the good men who showed interest in me. I would have prioritized building a life with someone instead of assuming love would always be available whenever I decided I was ready. So if you're young and reading this, take my advice. Choose wisely, but don't wait forever. Be realistic. If you want a good man, you have to act while you still have options. Because after 35, no matter how much you try, the reality is harsh: you will have to settle for much less or face a life of loneliness. What about you? Do you have someone in your family who has gone through this? Tell me in the comments.
Hi，大家好，我是小鱼。
Hey, everyone, it's Yu. Today, I want to share a story about something that happened in my past. I recently posted a video about my first boyfriend, the one I was with for many years, and how, after all this time, I tried to get back with him. But in that reunion, I ended up doing something I never imagined. I asked him for a loan. I know it might seem strange to some of you, but the truth is, I was in a really tough situation. Life had thrown me some curveballs, and I just didn't know who else to turn to. I thought, after all these years, he might understand and help me out. I guess I also thought that maybe, deep down, we still had a connection, something that could bring us back together in some way. I didn't expect things to go the way they did. At first, when I asked him for the money, I was hesitant. But then, I convinced myself that it was just a small request, and that he might want to help. After all, we had shared so much of our lives together, right? But when he saw my video, which I had posted about our situation, things took a turn. He reached out to me, upset. He said, "Why did you expose our conversation like this? If you didn't want to lend me money, fine, but you didn't have to put it out there on the internet. What if my friends, acquaintances, or even my wife see this?" Honestly, I felt a mix of emotions: surprise, guilt, and even a little anger. I never imagined he would react like that. In that moment, I thought maybe his account had been hacked. But when he reached out again, I realized that no, he was really bothered by what I did. He wasn't the same person I knew. And that's when I started questioning myself. What was I thinking? Did I really have the right to ask for that money, especially after everything that had happened between us? He has his own family now, a wife and kids. And as much as it hurt, I had to face the reality that I was no longer a part of his world. I had to accept that and move on. But honestly, it wasn't easy. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed and ashamed of what I had done, not just asking for money, but exposing our private conversations to the world. That was a low moment for me. And then came the regret. The truth is, I shouldn't have reached out to him at all. I shouldn't have gone back to someone from my past. I should have just let go and focused on fixing things in my own life. But in my desperation, I did what I thought was best at the time. I know a lot of people online were curious, asking why I hadn't blocked him from the start, especially after we broke up. They even asked if I still had feelings for him, or if I was hoping for something more. To be honest, at that time, I was still trying to hold on to something that no longer existed. I thought, maybe if I reached out, maybe if I made an effort, something would change. But I was wrong. When someone you deeply care about moves on, especially without any warning, without giving you any explanation, it hits hard. I was devastated when I found out he had gotten engaged to someone else. And not just anyone, but the daughter of his boss, no less. I couldn't stop asking myself, what did I do wrong? I felt so inadequate, like I was not enough for him. It was a painful experience. I spent a lot of time feeling sorry for myself, questioning everything about me. My family wasn't rich. I didn't have what others considered high emotional intelligence, and I kept doubting myself. I was stuck in a cycle of negative thoughts, and I was ashamed of everything that had led to that point. But after a while, I realized that I didn't need to keep tearing myself down. These weaknesses, these things I saw as flaws, didn't define me. I could work on myself, I could improve, and I could overcome them. And that's exactly what I did. Slowly, I began to change. I focused on making myself better, proving to myself that I could rise above all the challenges I faced. And yes, even though I felt embarrassed for asking for the money, the real lesson here is that I had to learn to move on. I don't need to prove anything to him or anyone else anymore. He's no longer part of my life, and I'm okay with that. It took time, but I realized that the person I was trying to prove something to wasn't worth it anymore. In the end, that's why I never blocked him from my contacts list. It wasn't because I still had feelings for him or wanted to rekindle something from the past. No, I kept his number because I wanted to show him that I was evolving, that I was getting better every day. But over time, I let that go. Now, he's just another memory, a distant part of my life. So no, I didn't keep his number because I still love him or because I want to relive something. I kept it because at some point I thought he was important, but now I see he's not. He's just someone who used to be in my life, and now he isn't. Now, I ask you all, how many of you have gone through something similar? How many of you have tried to reconnect with an ex, hoping to make things work again, only to regret it? And how many of you, like me, tried to prove you were better off without them, even though deep down, you were just trying to make sense of it all?
Hello. Good evening, everyone. It feels like it's been a few days since I last spoke directly to the screen. Sometimes it seems like time passes, and we end up drifting away from things we enjoy doing, but life pulls us in other directions. Well, I'm not very good at socializing, and I'm really frustrated. I don't like to please anyone, and I'm not willing to do that. You know, there are times when you feel a pressure, like you have to mold yourself to others, do what they expect of you, and I really can't do that. I don't like being forced to be someone I'm not. It's as if there's a constant expectation for me to fit into a social mold that I never asked to be in. But the people around me usually act this way, making friends and socializing. Everyone seems so natural in their interactions, so easy to blend in, while I just feel out of place. I don't know if it's me who's wrong or if the world just isn't prepared for people like me, who prefer a more introspective life, but it seems like the more I try to adjust, the harder it gets. So now, I feel strangely lost, because it's not that I don't know how to handle interpersonal relationships, I just don't want to. I simply don't have the energy for it. I think it's too tiring, and I believe everyone should take care of themselves. There's no need to spend the whole day trying to please anyone. If you take care of your own stuff, that's enough. It's like I'm trying so hard to fit in, but deep down, I'm just exhausted. I wish I could just live my life without the pressure of always having to be the center of attention or trying to please everyone. I think there's no need to live so tired, so social relationships have become more of a burden than something enjoyable to me. As someone who doesn't know how to handle interpersonal relationships, I end up feeling excluded. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the problem. It's not that I want to be excluded, but I just don't know how to fit in environments where people seem so natural, so calm in their interactions. It feels like there's a pattern everyone follows, and somehow, I'm always left out. I feel like I just don't fit in with others. How do you all manage with this? Have you ever felt that way? How do you deal with loneliness without feeling bad about it? I prefer being alone, staying in my room in silence, doing what I like, watching my favorite shows, and when I go out, I like being alone too, shopping alone, eating alone, because I think, maybe it's simpler this way. I don't have to worry about what others think, I can just be myself. I've come to realize that maybe being alone isn't so bad, maybe it's just the way I am. Over time, I got used to this routine and, in fact, I started to like it. Maybe it's the habit, but I also feel like I enjoy my own company. And when there's another person around, whether a man or a woman, I get irritated. It's not that I have anything against people, but it's just that every interaction, no matter how simple, requires energy that I'm often not willing to give. If it's a male friend, that's another story, but when I go out with a friend and I don't know what to do, I feel very uncomfortable. I still have to worry about the other person's feelings. It's exhausting in a way I can't even explain. I think I don't know how to handle these interactions anymore. Being around others takes so much energy that, in the end, I feel like there's nothing left for myself. Because people aren't selfish, right? I'm not the type to easily adapt to others, so for me, it's very tiring. And this pressure to always think about others, putting myself in their shoes, trying to please them, is exhausting. I don't know how much longer I can live like this. And I don't know if it's because of my personality that people end up treating me like I'm easy to manipulate. You know, it feels like my lack of interest in being part of certain social circles makes me an easy target for those who want to take advantage of me. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I feel like I'm being treated as if I have no voice, no power to make decisions, simply because I don't care to fit in. So I feel like wherever I go, the situation is always the same. I feel like an outsider, trying to understand where, if anywhere, I truly belong. Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing something wrong, or if it's the world around me that just can't deal with people like me. I don't like to maintain interpersonal relationships. I don't like to put effort into cultivating them. Maybe that's the reason I've been isolated until now, but I've gotten used to it. I don't like bothering others, but I also don't like others bothering me. There's something solitary in the way I live, but at the same time, it's the only thing I can control. I take care of my own things, work on what I need to, earn my own money, and buy the things I like without having to worry about anyone's feelings or emotions. I don't know if you feel the same way, but sometimes, I feel like I'm drifting further away from the world, and I don't know if that's good or bad. Anyway, this is how I feel. I feel like I have a tendency toward loneliness, and maybe even depression. I don't know if it's because of the time accumulated or if it's just my personality, but now I'm a little lost. I know this isn't good, but still, I don't want to make an effort to deal with people, it's really tiring. Sometimes, the only thing I wish for is to find some balance, but right now, I'm just trying to cope with what I have. Well, I think that's enough for today. I'll wrap this up and go to bed. Bye. If you liked it, please like, comment, and leave a message in the comments. I'll reply. Thanks for the support. Bye.
So, folks, after listening to Xiao Yu, the introverted girl who prefers solitude over pleasing anyone, and so many other women who, between regrets and demands, ended up alone, what's left of all this? A bitter lesson, but with a touch of tragic comedy. These stories have something in common. They spent years thinking the world would wait for them, that the perfect man would always be there, arms wide open, ready to fulfill every item on their wish list. He has to be tall, rich, handsome, romantic, and, of course, treat me like a princess. But time doesn't forgive, and the market of love, my friends, is crueler than the job market. So why did they end up like this? Because they aimed high and forgot that, while they were picking candidates like choosing a designer dress, the worthy men moved on, they got married early, built families, or simply gave up on chasing someone who only points out flaws. Xiao Yu herself said, "I don't want to try to deal with people. That's fine. But the price of this independence is looking at your phone and seeing that the only message is from the carrier charging your bill." And here comes the irony. They don't have to stay single if they don't want to. There will always be someone to take the spot, right? The divorced uncle with 2 kids who doesn't pay alimony, the guy still living with his mom at 45, or the one who thinks a fast food dinner is the height of romance. Yes, ladies, the market still has stock, But don't be fooled. The Prince Charming you dreamed of, the one who was supposed to show up in a BMW and make you cry with joy, is already taken, probably by someone who didn't wait for the perfect timing to say yes. In the end, the blame isn't just on them, but also on an illusion they sold us that you can have it all, whenever you want, without giving anything up. But life isn't a fairy tale with an inevitable ending. These women aren't alone because of a lack of options, but because of excessive expectations. And now, well, enjoy the video, leave a clever like, and tell me, do you think they still have a chance of finding the man of their dreams? Or is it time to adopt some cats and call them family? What's your opinion about these women? Share your point of view with everyone in the comments about this dilemma. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video.